She drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off. And buries the block. Niel takes the shot for Kirby.
Welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratanudo. At Diablo00 is where you can find me on Twitter. Pause 1 second. Got 1 second. Fix something in the studio. All right, let's try this again. Well, anyway, yes, I am Michael Caratanudo. At Diablo00 is where you can find me on Twitter and the show as well. Facebook and YouTube. I know Pitchfork Lunchers. I tell you every day, and I'm always going to tell you. On Twitter or on YouTube, sorry, you go to my YouTube page. All the shows are there. You miss interviews, you miss shows, obviously shows, but the interviews, it's easy to do. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, like the shows, share them, and enjoy. Because again, there's been a ton of interviews, shows, stuff from practice, all that good stuff, games as well. But go to my YouTube. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at YouTube, at MVC005 at YouTube, and subscribe, because, again, like I said, you will miss out on a lot if you don't. And if today, I'm getting to what you'll miss out on today. He's back on the show. We're going to talk to ASU women's volleyball coach of the 24-4 Sun Devils, JJ Van Niel, as the Oregon schools come to town. The Ducks are at Desert Financial tonight, and then the Beavers are at Desert Financial on Sunday, which brackets the Ducks being here in football on Saturday. But just saying, it's an Oregon heavy weekend here in Tempe. But yes, the Ducks are coming in. They beat them when they were up in Eugene. They swept them 3-0, and they were the number 5 team in the country. Talk to Jelly Sear. Again, if you missed that, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check it out, because one of the many players we've talked to from the volleyball team. But, Jelly had her thoughts on that as, Oregon was warming up, and, they maybe get loose in their own way, but just seemed like she thought they were just a little too loose after their 5-set loss to the Beavers and in Corvallis when they went to Eugene. Like I said, beat the number 5 team 3-0, and now also have a win over, Stanford was number 3 at the time, but number 2 Stanford. They avenged that loss in Palo Alto when they came here. So it will be very interesting tonight to see obviously how the Ducks come out, but the response and, again, the energy that team's been playing with. And we get to catch up again with Coach Van Niel, again, building off of what we talked about the first time. And you'll see it. And I've said it before on the show, I pay him homage. He's the first coach to come on Pitchfork Lunch. And again, we've had quite a few. So it's been awesome. But we will sit down and catch up with JJ Van Niel, obviously about the matches coming up against Oregon, the team. And yes, I know it, and I say it I'm going to ask him it, still going to talk about that team from down south and closing out the season with Arizona. So, yes, in competition, I will say that, and there's nothing more they'd like to do than to throw off ASU's postseason ranking, maybe drop it a little bit. But again, like I told you, 5 p.m. on the 25th, on Saturday, they will be down in Tucson, 5 p.m. Turn that gym maroon and gold is all I got to say. But that being said, he'll join the show. So again, always awesome when you talk to Coach. And again, just in getting to know him, seeing him around the team, this team, again, obviously the record improved from last year, but you just see, and they had energy last year, but you just see, the refocused energy and how this team plays and how they mesh together, because I've given you guys numbers, it, but that being said, it's one of those things where, it's one of those things where when we look at it, you don't take it for granted, obviously. And I mean that in the sense of, last year's a struggle, they're improved, and teams maybe, overlooked them even after non-conference there in the Phoenix, people saying, oh, well, look who they played. And we touched on that in the first interview with Coach about how he had to put together a schedule somehow, some way. So that being said, very tough to do, obviously, but got it done, and they were road warriors. And then they came home, and they have not fallen on home court yet. So it'll be a tough one tonight. But again, get on out there. We'll talk to Coach about it. That coming up. Football, like I said, they are taking on Oregon, and the they're taking on Oregon, and the number 6 Ducks, again, number 6 in volleyball now, and then number 6 in the college football playoff are the Ducks. And look, coming off of last week's win at UCLA, again, we saw the innovation. I mean, Coach Gillingham had, played the sound earlier in the week, what they did against UCLA. Running the swinging gate, and it has been quite a while since anybody's run it, but it worked out. They get the 17-7 victory on top of the swinging gate, but the defense, again, under Coach Ward, just absolutely balled out as well. So, when you look at it like that, it's momentum, that they've built. But this defense, I mean, again, the Utah game, the outlier, the clunker, and unfortunately teams, have those games. I mean, just ask LSU if they could play a look at defense. This team would be, whew. But that being said, this defense is absolutely balled out for Coach Ward. I talked about that. I mean, they've just done a phenomenal job. And last week, I mean, the fourth down stops, UCLA thought they could get them. And 0 for 3 on fourth down. Well, 0 for 4, I mean, there's a turnover on downs. But, I mean, well, I can't say technically. They were 0 for 4 on fourth downs. But 3 of them on stops, 2 at 4th and 1. I think the other one was 4th and 2. So just, again, big momentum to build off of. But, Coach Dillingham did mention, and Coach Ward, I think, even mentioned too, how do you build, against Washington State, you got the win. Then you went to Utah, and that game happened. You turn around UCLA, So how do you react to that, knowing that Oregon, yes, is physical, is going to try to get you to play at their speed, and go from there. So it's going to be a great chess match. Obviously, Bo Nix, I mean, one of the front runners, along with, conference mate Michael Penix Jr. for the Heisman Trophy this year. Troy Franklin at, receiver. Tez Johnson, too. This offense. And then Bucky Irving at running back. And the offensive line, I mean, he gets rid of the ball quick, but they keep his jersey very, very spotless, which, I talked about it with Michael Penix earlier in the season. And even last year, that before ASU played him, he had dropped back between 2 seasons over 500 times, right? Over 500 times, and been sacked 9 times. Yes, there were hurries, but I'm just saying, in 500 to only be dropped 9 times in 2 seasons, not in 1, in 2 seasons. So, or a season and, a quarter at that point. But they keep Bo Nix's jersey very clean. Coach Dillingham talked about it, getting rid of the ball quick. If you try to take away this, you play tight. You play tight man, he's going to get it, to the open receiver. You play zone, he's going to pick you apart. You don't pressure him. He scrambles around, extends plays. Why aren't you pressuring him? So it is going to be an insanely awesome chess match. And again, a familiar one. Coach Dillingham obviously has spoken very highly of, of Bo Nix, and rightfully so. But I mean, in working with him last year at Oregon, Coach Lanning, obviously, nothing but respect for Coach Lanning and working with him. So again, it'll be a great atmosphere. And, like I said, sometimes the Ducks come here and yes, it'll be cheesy Thanksgiving humor early one-time pitchfork lunchers, but I got to do it. They put the Ducks come here and get the pitchfork put in them. So maybe some duck on Thanksgiving. Who knows? Pre-Thanksgiving, I should say. There's another team to take care of on Thanksgiving, but Oregon first. So that's coming up. Hoops last night, the men's and women's both in action. And the men's team get a last-second hoop from Frankie Collins, and they get the victory over UMass Lowell. I heard Coach Hurley on the show yesterday talking about how this was going to be a tough team. I mean, he said how they took apart Dartmouth. They beat Georgia Tech. And again, not to say, obviously, I'm saying Georgia Tech was in the conversation, but I'm just saying, Coach Hurley talked about they beat Georgia Tech, and then they come in here and they had a lead. I mean, it was obviously back and forth. I'm saying, and Frankie Collins gets the inbounds pass, takes it the full length of the court, gets a screen, and goes into the lane and hits a tricky reverse layup. And the huge thing, and get into this, I'll mention it again, but they finished on a 13-2 run in the final 2 minutes of the game to beat UMass Lowell 71-69. So yes, it's a team in UMass Lowell that is good. Are there things ASU can improve on? Absolutely. Coach talked about it post game, but you're playing to get wins, and they got, like I said, the 71-69 victory, a 13-2 run in the last 2 minutes, final 2 minutes of the game. And they are now 2-1 On the women's side, oh man, they were at Grambling. We talked about it yesterday, and they were down and at half, and then in the first and at half, and they also charged back, but fell short to Grambling by 3, 70-67. And the first loss of the season, they're 3-1. But for Coach Natasha Adair, 70-67, but like I said, there was a late charge by ASU, and it was tied at 18 after 1. Grambling really took hold of the game, and that literally ended up being the difference the second quarter, because it was tied, like I said, 18 after 1, but Grambling outscored the Devils 27-14, putting them up 13 points at half. So I'll put them on 45-32 at half. But then the Devils, again, chopped the lead a teeny bit. They cut 2 points off it. They outscore them in the third, 17-15. So down by 13 at half, because it was 45-32, and then down by 11 going into 11 going into the fourth. They outscored them by 18-10, holding Grambling to 10 points. And Khadija Toure and Jaden Simmons leading the team in scoring, both 18 points apiece. Maggie Besselink, again, her getting healthy and contributing and being back from injury from last year, but just seeing those minutes on the court, absolutely huge. She had 11 points. Treyana Crisp with 10. And then Treasure Hunt and Marasha Wiggins had 4 points apiece. But yeah, you look at the team and the rebound edge. Grambling out rebounded them, but it was 37-35, so pretty much even. Turnovers, though, the Devils did have. Grambling had more. It's 25-17. 3-point shooting, the Devils 4 for 12. All right, 33%. Grambling, though, 15 for 24. They just crushed it. From the 3-point line. That's 62.5% from the 3-point line. And you fall to a team that does that. Yes, granted, a lot was in the first 3 quarters, second quarter huge too, but they were 9 for 12. They were 75% in the third quarter. They were 3 for 4 in the fourth quarter. And the worst 3-point shooting quarter Grambling had was in the first. They were 1 for 4. But like I said, 15-24, 62.5% from behind the arc. And the Devils fall by 3. So, yes, adjustments they needed to make. Did they need to get close down the 3-point line? I'm guessing Coach Adair will. But still a heck of an effort. And that is, again, this team battled last year, and I talked about it, through injuries, being short, having a shorter bench. And now, yes, it's early 3-1, but they're going to battle. They did get down at half, but defensively, they turned it up. You can say the second half, but it was that second quarter, because both teams, like I said, tied at 18 after the first. So, Demaya Young, though, led all scorers for Grambling. She had 23 points, 7 boards, and 2 assists. Did Miss Young. She was 7 for 11 from behind the arc. Jasmine Jackson, who had 15 points, she was all hers were from the 3-point line. She was 5 for 5 100% from behind the arc was Jasmine Jackson. And she was 0 for 5 from inside the arc. One of those nights where it's like, really? Shooting closer is a challenge, but hey, not taking anything away from her. 5 for 5. So, 12 for 16 between those two, between Young and Jackson. And like I said, Young with 23, Jackson with 15, Brenda McKinney had 11. And they hold on for the 3-point win. But, man, you got to like this fight from this ASU women's team. And, and the men's team as well. Like I said, getting to know each other. And when we look at the on the men's side real quick, and again, like I said, now they're 2-1. They get the 71-69 victory over UMass Lowell, which, they're 2-0 at home. It's all that matters. And now they will head to Vegas on Thanksgiving. They will be playing BYU at 10 p.m. I said 10 a.m. yesterday. Man, that is so early. So, 10 p.m. local time, which is 9 o'clock in Vegas. But it'll be on ESPN2. So, that being said, they take on BYU on Thanksgiving at 10 o'clock at night. So, not really. Maybe they'll celebrate Thanksgiving. They'll have team giving on Thursday or Wednesday. Pardon me, Wednesday. Because you don't want to eat all that crazy food and be tired for your game. But 71-69. Like I said, real quick, and then I'll get into it more. But Jose Perez, look at that. Leads the team in scoring, 20 points for Perez, 7 for 9 from the field. It just took 1 3, but he was 1 for 1 from behind the arc. But in 7 for 23 from behind the arc, it is a battle. I get it. It is the game that we live in. Either get it inside for dunks or have somebody chucking threes. Because if you're hitting more threes than you are twos, it's. I know. But anyway, 7 for 23. 12 for 21 from the free throw line. Again, that's got to pick up. 57.1% for the game, and early in the season, but the free throw line has definitely got to be something that steps up. They got out rebounded 40-32. Although they controlled the turnover battle, and I'm sure that's what helped the charge in the last 2 minutes, but 21 turnovers for UMass Lowell, 9 just for the Devils. So, again, still a teeny bit high, but you like seeing that. And more importantly, you get the victory. But Jemiah Niel had 12, Frankie Collins had 11, and again, that last shot, huge. Both Alonzo Gaffney and Kamari Lance, 10 points each. And then Sean Phillips Jr. and Bryant Sebelong Selebonge had 4 points each. So, again, 71%. Shot 41% from the field, 30% from the arc, and then 57% from the free throw line. So, you were in the mud in it. As I would say, UMass Lowell had a lot to do with that, obviously. So, they're not. That was their first loss of the season for UMass Lowell, like I said. So, but Coach Hurley, they get the win. So, touch on a little bit. But I'm going to go to break. When we get back, though, head coach J.J. Van Niel is joining us here on Pitchfork Lunch. So don't go too far, and we'll have more coming up on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 Pitchfork Launchers. You know that. See the show there on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll get to have great interviews like this. I got to give a shout out, obviously, to this next coach, JJ Van Niel, the women's volleyball coach, because he was the first coach to come on and of the show when we just got it started, just a short little 53 episodes ago. So I want to bring him in right now. Coach, again, thank you so much for the time. I greatly appreciate it. And I was kidding around on Twitter after you guys beat your next opponent, but first round time through in Pac-12 play, beating number 5 Oregon. I said, Coach talked about having a talented team. He knew he could get it out of them. So it's 99.9999% his coaching talent, their skill, their talent, and the 0.0001% positive mojo from being the first coach to come on Pitchfork Lunch. It's probably not true, but I'll take it, Coach.
We can go with more than that.
Oh, you're too kind.
But I was the first one on. That's pretty cool.
Oh, like I said, I mean, when I did this show, everybody, and again, I've got to cover all the sports, and I'm very grateful, and haven't been a broadcast major graduating from ASU. It's kind of something I always hoped for anyway, Coach. So it works out quite well, but I kind of want to pick up where we left off last time when you guys were up in Flagstaff, saying that you were getting your offense in, you wanted to be a fast offense, you finished obviously that, and then the rest of non-conference undefeated. But Coach, man, I was very excited, and I knew from your background, obviously all the coaching you've done, you knew what you were talking about. Of course, a teeny bit skeptical because obviously last year's record, the talent was there, but all right, Coach, you got to shoot us straight here. Did you think it would really look this good, this fast?
No, I mean, I did think we could kind of, if we played well, we could get to, maybe a 20-win season. That was sort of what I thought was a reasonable goal to set for our team. So, I don't know where we're at. I know we're past that. But yeah, it's been a fun ride. I think the Pac-12 has been pretty wild this year too. So yeah, this has been a really, really interesting season. But I'm very fortunate. I got just a phenomenal group of kids that I get to be around every day. So
well, speaking of that phenomenal group of kids, I know we talked about a lot of the team last time too, but Marta getting the National Player of the Week, and I said that I saw obviously in program history it was the fifth ASU player ever that's gotten the National Player of the Week. And Coach, I understand it just in this conference alone, and I know you know as well, and I said it on the show too, but I get they're not just handing out, National Players of the Week, but I'm like, wow, for ASU and all this history, for her to be the 5th, I was absolutely floored. But when I talked to her, and then she said, it is a team award. And, people say, oh, teammates and players always say that, but she's like, if we weren't doing what we're doing right now, my teammates aren't doing this, I'm not winning this award. You said last time you were on that it was, and you said throughout the year, like you knew how tough it was to prepare to play against her. Well, now that you get to coach her, a National Player of the Week award, is there anything she's done this year that, I hate to use the word surprise because I know you're prepared, but anything that has really surprised you, just maybe in her growth or what she's just meant to the team in general?
I don't know if surprised, is correct, but she was already obviously a really skilled player. But the things she's been doing this year are compared to, what she's done historically are pretty staggering. And again, I love her humbleness. And the funny thing is she just, I don't want to say doesn't care about the words. I know she appreciates it, but she's so nonchalant and just, yeah, it's an award. That's not the kind of thing that drives her. It's coming out, being with the team and winning matches, which is really, really cool. But she is right. I think the team's doing things that are, of course, helping her. But I think across the board, and I haven't looked recently, but my guess, if I pulled up, her most recent dashboard, she's serving at a much better rate than she did. She's one of the best servers, in the conference for sure.
Right.
she's obviously attacking at an unbelievably high efficiency, despite the fact that we're setting her a lot of balls. She, her blocking numbers are better than they were before. Her defensive numbers are better. So, I mean, it's just like across the board, she just routinely goes out and does a good job. I mean, I hate to even say this because I don't want to jinx it, but like, I think the thing that surprised me the most is just she has been unbelievably consistent. Right. I've gotten to coach, some kids that were really, really good, including kids that have also gotten ABCA National Player of the Year awards. And I mean, Marta, it's just like every game she might have a tough set or whatever. And then all of a sudden you look, it's the end of the match and she's got 5 kills a set and hit, 350 or something. You're like, this is just insane. Like she's just every single match. She just comes in and, I'm trying to think off the top of my head and I can't even remember really maybe one match that I thought she kind of wasn't really up to snuff. I might be wrong. Someone can go, if you go check it and tell me I'm wrong, like, please don't text me about it. I'm trying to pull this out of the back of my head, but
right.
I think that's the thing. I mean, volleyball it's a long season and we're playing a lot of matches this year. It really is a grind. I mean, we had 2 days off heading into this week, which they definitely needed. My poor kids were exhausted. And not that everyone else isn't exhausted too. I get it, but you can see it. So I think it was great to give them a break, but like her consistency has been pretty impressive.
Well, and to piggyback off that real quick, Coach, when I was sitting down talking with her after you guys finished up practice, I said, hey, so is there a competition between like you and Shannon and Mary? I go, who's gonna win the ACES championship? Because I go, me as a guy that, like I told you, that's called matches. Like I nerd out about that. I go, especially about ACES, because you have your stats and I see them, but 195 on the year. And I've stressed to the viewers of the show, I go, guys, that's basically 2 matches that have been won on ace points alone. And yes, it's only, people can say, well, 2 matches. I'm like, but that's on ace points alone. I'm like, she goes, oh, and the humbleness that you talk of, and I kind of chuckle too. She goes, well, thanks for telling me that. She's like, I had no clue. She's like, I'm like, oh, so there's no little banter about who's going to, deliver maybe the bet, like, this timely ace or that. And she goes, I didn't know till you told me. So I when you say that, like for people that, and they saw it too on the show, but it's just hilarious to me because again, you're right. If you're going to start caring about stats and, all that, you as a coach definitely know that it could go downhill from there.
Yeah. I think we've tried to, be pretty good about, I mean, we don't talk about it. Like, I didn't even know that. Someone told me, I think of course we did call before our Pac-12 matches and one of them said that we're like, and I haven't looked it up. So if it's wrong, this is someone else told me, like we're second in the nation in aces, which
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I didn't think so. I figured we would have draw. I know at the beginning of the season we were, but once you get into conference play, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool because we spent a lot of time in the spring trying to get good at serving, and we focus on it a lot. So I'm really proud of the kids for continuing to be really strong there. And there's a lot deeper stats that go into serving than just the aces, and there's actually some metrics that I think are more important than just pure aces that they're. I know recently when I looked, we were number 1 in the conference, but I don't really. If you ask them, they'd probably tell you that I tell them it's not good enough.
As a coach should always do. Believe me, I'm having, like I told you last time you were on, having played soccer for my uncle. It's not that there wasn't compliments, but believe me, there are things you turn around and you're like, yes, and then you get that look of, you realize it can still be better, right? Like, and it's a genuine look. So I completely understand that. How do you feel? Okay, so obviously on the road, I mean, you go on the road playing Stanford, you lose in 3 there. They come back here, and you're going to see him again. And that match at Mull, I mean, again, the crowds, like you guys have said, have been electric. But to get that win, and not only get it, but obviously do it in 3. This team was already, I mean, whether people want to use, I use relaxed, confident, locked in. But a victory like that, after what happened last time, what does that do for them as a team?
I think, a lot of a lot of this is about confidence, right? And I do think that when you kind of win kind of some matches like that, you put that in, I don't know, I always call it the confidence piggy bank. And, we talk a little bit about that, when we do some good things, like I put that in your confidence piggy bank. You got to know that you deserve to be there and you can be there. At the end of the day, we're about to go into a tournament and you got to play really well every match. And I think you got to try to draw on those experiences to make sure that you feel like, we deserve this and we've earned this. Not deserve it. I don't like the word deserve. We have earned it. And, that's a better way to put it. But you work hard to kind of earn the right to have that confidence, and I think they've done a really nice job. They did it all spring, and they've done it all fall. And I'm proud of this team, and I hope they take confidence from that game. We played really, really well. I think honestly that match and the match against Oregon. Of course, we're playing them tomorrow. Tomorrow. We're playing them tomorrow, and so of course when you're going to play them, you go back and you watch the old match, and we played we played really well against them. So hope that we can continue to do that.
I want to piggyback off that too, because you said Oregon, and then obviously Oregon State, and then when you were on the road at the mountain schools, the loss to Colorado, and you told me then, and haven't been around it, I knew like the second time through is always tough. And yes, when you see what happened in a match, when you lose to somebody, and your players that I've talked to, like you guys are focused as a staff on making the adjustments, but to get like a turnaround victory against Colorado, and then obviously beat Utah again. But when I use revenge, because I think having played in the back of my head, it's like, yes, I need to be focused on what you're saying, Coach. We need to do this, and this is why it didn't work out last time. But there's still a small percentage of me as a competitor has that revenge thing in my head, like they're not going to beat us again. How big is that factor in a way? And when you turn around and beat that team, like, does it just almost seem like a relief from whoever the opponent is? But does it seem just kind of like a little mini exhale from the team? Like, okay, we knew we could do this.
You'd have to talk to them. I think we try to approach one match at a time, and I don't know that we've ever talked about revenge in our, at least as a coaching staff with the players, anything like that. But yeah, I was a player in many different sports, and of course you want to beat teams that have beaten you before, right? You're going to get fired up about it. So just like obviously we got pretty fired up, and we're kind of on point when we got to play Stanford. So I think having them come home, we love being at home, and I think it was nice. I think I'm sure the kids had a little bit of that, but at the end of the day, all these matches that we're playing, we're trying to get better. We have little things that we're working on. We had some stuff in the second half of conference play that we're like, we gotta clean this up and try to get stronger here. And then right now, these last couple of weeks, we got some stuff that we're being pretty specific about trying to clean up, in order to be good in these matches. And then of course, once we find out where we're going for the tournament, be good there.
Absolutely. Before I get to that, I forgot to tell you this last time. So one of my good friends growing up, his mom had summers, a lot of times they would go to different beach houses in California. Well, we were in Laguna Beach one year, and all these people are gathered around watching these two guys, play a little, like they're playing on the sand. I'm like, man, they look pretty good. Well, it was your old working buddy. It was Karch Karai. So he looks at me and my friend. He's like, oh, you guys want up? I'm like, and I'm thinking like the competitor in me, Coach, said yes. I just puked it out. My friend looked at me like, what's wrong with you? So, and they took it easy on us a little bit, but like I went up to try and block him, which was absolutely dumb. But still I tried it, and he hit a ball off the side of my hand. And like for like 4 days, I don't think I felt the right side of my right hand, Coach. And I just I've always, like I said, I always loved like being on the beach and stuff like that. But I'm like, man, I forgot to tell him that last time. So yeah, I got spiked on pretty hard by a former colleague and obviously a good friend of yours.
Yep, Karch is he's I think probably the greatest of all time when it comes to volleyball. And again, I'm sure someone will tell me I'm a jerk or whatever and give me grief for that. But he's obviously someone I've gotten to be around a lot, and just the utmost respect. And I feel fortunate I've gotten to learn from him. not only just because he was so great as a player, but he's a phenomenal coach as well, and just a relentless in his pursuit of learning, which is really cool. I think any interactions with Karch, you're pretty lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I was laughing. I was like, man, and he's like, and so I didn't want to turn around and show that I was in pain, but man, it was a nice quick match to 7 points, and my friend actually got us the only point, JJ, because he served and I thought it was out, but it literally landed in. He got an ace on him, and that was our only point. We lost 7-1, but we can always say we scored 1 point.
There you go. You should have took the ball and had him sign it for you.
I know. My friend's we should have ran away with it. Okay, I know, and it is a great point because I get it is, one game at a time, and next week obviously being a busy week. It's Thanksgiving, ton of travel, and you're going, I know, up to Washington State. As you get ready, for the Oregon schools, but and then playing the Cougs, but how much fun is it when you look at it, ending a season, getting to play, obviously, a rivalry game, playing rivals. I mean, and again, I do get it's one game at a time, but I got to throw. I mean, it's just, I know you started conference play with them, but it's got to be fun to end the season with them and just kind of even going with the, the extra territorial cup points on the line.
Yeah, I mean, rival games at any school are fun. When I was at Utah and we played BYU, those were really fun, hyped up matches. And of course, USC, UCLA was always a blast. So I haven't been involved in an ASU Arizona match down there. So I'm looking forward to, getting down there, and I'm sure they're going to have a big crowd, and they'll be loud and rambunctious, and, we'll see how we do. Hopefully we can perform well.
Yeah, well, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and I've been telling people on the show, Coach, they have no excuse for not going down to check you out at 5 p.m. and turning that gym down south into a maroon and gold haven, in my, non-biased opinion. I got to get you on this one, though, because I know I asked you last time, if there was a kind of a prankster on the team. A few of your players may have said that the actually champion prankster is you as the head coach. So have you played a prank or two that has gotten them? Because
no, but I certainly joke around a lot. We play a lot of games, so maybe I don't know if I've had any outright pranks, but maybe they're telling me that because I need to go do something.
I just said, hey, I'm just curious. I always ask that question because again, when and obviously, as being on both sides, when you're winning, obviously it's fun, and yes, you can learn a lot from it. And you're improving, you're building momentum. When you lose, it's the same thing. I want to get you out of here on this because I got to sit and talk to Maddie, and I know obviously in high school she had to overcome personal health issues to where to be able to get to play, and ask her if volleyball helps. She was kind of the other way around. I had to get through that in order to play volleyball, and just like you say, I mean, each match you're kind of in a battle, but to have somebody like Maddie on the team that is obviously loving what she's doing, being a part of this team and playing for you. But when somebody's been through something like that and they're in it, what does that do for the team? And you as a coach, how do you respond to that and obviously use it, as a positive message to the team?
I think, Maddie, the messaging for just comes from how Maddie approaches everything she does. I mean, she went down on Friday night, and I mean, she was on the floor for a while. She's in tears, right after the match. I went back and, was sitting with her for a while, and she was in a lot of pain. And I'm sitting here all right, well, that's a bummer. She might be done for the year, and I mean, the kid the next day is pushing the envelope of our trainer of just what she could do, and in this relentless pursuit of trying to get back, and I don't know when we're going to get her back, but yeah, I mean, everything she does is just absolutely relentless. Just when you see her in the weight room, there is no rep that is not full go. When you see her in our practice gym, there's nothing that's not intentional and full go. And so And everyone knows her story. And I think if you're a young person, you're going, okay, well, this is the standard. You know, how can I take a rep off when I'm watching, you know, this person who literally didn't play club in high school and yet is now a starting middle on, you know, whatever, I don't know what we're ranked right now, but somewhere in the top 25, I guess. And
18, coach. Sorry, I'm nerd like that, but 18 and it should be higher. But I'm a homer, so my vote doesn't count, coach.
Okay. But you know, she's had all these things that she's gone through, and I think her ability to just push through adversity is just an awesome way to lead. You know, I mean, you don't have to say anything. People see it. They see it in how she attacks everything that she does. And she's also just a great person to be around. Like she's really, really a funny person.
Oh, I thought so too. And I was kind of when I was talking to her and Marta, I saw they were both psychology majors. I said, look, I know coach wants you to focus on what you need to do, but you ever at the net kind of just getting in the mind of the person right across from you with that psychology advantage you have? And she goes, I've never tried it. Maybe I will. I said, do not do that because I know who coach is going to come after first. I said, I was just throwing it. I thought maybe you kind of maybe trash talked a little bit of, psychology to get in their head. So it's a little bit more of an advantage for you at the net. But no, like I said, I mean, you and to this point, I mean, there's more work to do. And I know obviously Oregon tonight and then Oregon State on Sunday. And like I said, I tell everybody, and I will actually get to be there on both. So I'm very, very stoked about that. But man, coach, again, I so greatly appreciate your time as I know you're busy. And again, you get kudos and hats off for being the Pitchfork Lunch's first coach to come on. And like I said, I'll just take the 0.0001% of great mojo from the show. But you've done a great job. And you know what? Wait, hold on. Last thing I'd ask you this. Do your kids have fun with this? I mean, are they like, okay, dad's an awesome coach, or is it like, I mean, obviously I'm thinking they probably like volleyball a little bit, but I mean, your kids, you got 3 of them. Are they dialed in with this?
They like going to the matches, but
all right,
they're happy, of course, when we win, because when we lose, I'm not as fun to be around.
Spoken like every great coach ever. That is a mic drop, coach. Hey, again, seriously, thank you so much for taking the time. I'll see you at tonight's match, and go Devils.
Go Devils. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.
All right, back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Thanks so much to Coach Van Niel for doing that. Yeah, and after the interview, I got a little froze out there for a minute. So apologies. But again, you heard Coach Van Niel saying tomorrow, meaning tonight. But nonetheless, taking on Oregon. And the Ducks are, again, rolling into town. And they, man, the Beavers are going to be here too. They're down in Tucson tonight is Oregon State. But that match, again, at 6 p.m., Yeah, 6 p.m. They will be taking on Oregon at Desert Financial Arena tonight. So again, like you said, get out there. The pace this team plays at is just absolutely phenomenal. So it is awesome. But again, so grateful for Coach Van Niel getting to come on the show for the second time. So, and they're home this time. Last time he was in Flagstaff. So, I mean, close to home, but yeah, it's been a minute. Men's hoops, like I said, they get the 71-69 victory last night over UMass Lowell. Yes, they were down. Yes, it was they had to come back, but guess what? They did it with the 71-69 victory. And man, just a like I said, overall solid team performance. And Jose Perez, I said he led the Devils earlier, led all scorers actually with 20 points. But yeah, 20 points, 3 boards, 4 assists. And look, I mean, one of the newer guys, and he was the one, we heard him talk. I saw him on the show, was it last week? Week before that, Perez was, a latecomer, and he came in and man, yes, he has to get the job with the team, but he can score. Like I said, he can, he's 1 for 1 from behind the arc, but 7 for 9 from the field overall, 5 for 8 from the free throw line. But yeah, I mean, having guys like Jemiah Neal and Frankie Collins to lean on, and Alonzo Gaffney as well, who's back. I mean, he's coming off his ankle. This young man, I mean, absolutely sick. Played 33 minutes last night. Like I said, had 10 points, 7 boards, 2 assists. So again, just getting back into the flow of things. And yeah, with the ankle, and you heard Coach Hurley talk about it the other day when we were able to catch up with him, that, I mean, just the way he attacked rehab, but he wasn't going to put him on the floor, obviously, if he was going to be a detriment, to himself or obviously his future. But man, just worked hard and getting the cobwebs off and in the starting lineup. I mean, last night's starting lineup, Jose Perez, Jemiah Neal, Frankie Collins, Gaffney, and then Sean Phillips Jr. So you definitely have a little bit of length there down low, protecting the rim, with Sean Phillips Jr. and Alonzo Gaffney. And, Perez being a little bit of a bigger guard as well. And, I mean, Frankie Collins just, 36 minutes played. And like I said, had the 11 points, but, man, goes down the lane. But yeah, I mean, and just like for Coach, Natasha Adair in women's hoops, this is, a work in progress, but it is nice. You get to start out 2-1 now. Overall 3-1 UMass Lowell, gave them their first loss. Like I said in the top of the show, a very talented team. And it was they were 6 for 16 from the 3-point line. 11-14. I mean, only got 14 free throws, but still hit 11 of them. So pretty, obviously a 70, just about 79% from the free throw line, which, is getting to the more acceptability range, which Coach Hurley, I know, definitely going to address that. It's got to work on it, but yeah, only shooting 57% from the free throw line as you get into the season and as much as it goes on. It's something that's going to have to be addressed. So yeah, but again, 71-69 win. The women, at Grambling charged back. I mean, what a fourth quarter. I mean, they held Grambling to 10 points, but they only outscored them by 8, needed to outscore them by 12. It was but again, you want to see that fight. You want to see the effort. And again, it's not about a silver lining or, there's a silver lining, and you can say, oh, well, you look at it, you fought back. Yes, you have to have a better defensive second quarter. Just keep the defense consistent, as coach talked about throughout the game. And yeah, I mean, like I said, for Grambling to shoot 62% from behind the arc, that's just madness. And that a player, Jackson was 5 for 5, 100%. All her points from behind the arc, but was 0 for 5 from inside the arc. So that's just one of those head scratchers, right? Things that make you go, But yeah, so basketball. I mean, Roland Hockey has Alaska Anchorage this weekend, by the way, fans. So don't forget that. Hockey does have Alaska Anchorage, and they, Friday night tonight. Sorry, I said Friday night. That is tonight. See, Coach got me thrown off too. But Friday night tonight, and then Sunday afternoon, Alaska Anchorage will be playing ASU. So, 7-1 at home, 7-1-0 at home. So looking to keep that going. And they're only lost, like I said, to the number 2 team in the country in Denver, who they of course split with. And yes, I will never get tired of saying that, because just the growth and just you see it in recruiting and what this team has done, and what Coach Powers and his staff, what they've done as well. So hockey to get out to, and yes, football. Don't think I forgot about that. Oregon is in town, the Ducks, and like I said in the beginning of the show, they've come to Tempe to get the pitchfork put in the Ducks. So maybe a little, you can have turkey and cooked duck coming up for Thanksgiving, right, Sun Devil fans. But no, look, I talked about it. Their defense has played. Oregon's defense has played very, very well. Their offense, their line, first of all, physical, keeps Bo Nix's jersey clean. He helps that cause by getting rid of the ball quickly. And, Coach Dillingham, also, Coach Ward, defensive coordinator, alluded to, you have to mix it up, because, like you said, asked me, if you don't, pressure them, they're like, why are you letting them scramble around and sit back there forever? If you do pressure them, and he tears you apart, well, why are you pressuring? Why don't you have more guys in coverage? So it's yes, it is the no-win question or puzzle, actually the no-win puzzle to put together. He's always making sure, Bo Nix, that is making sure the defense is the one with the missing piece, not his offense. So look, against that defense, and we saw what they did on the road at Washington against the number 5 team in the country. Say what you will, everybody's saying, oh, it's momentum, Oregon, this and that. Washington's just been winning games too, and they're still undefeated, and they are a very, very good team. But the other side of that, yes, the ASU defense did hold that offense to no offensive touchdowns, and unfortunately lost that game. So when you look at it, do they have that in them? Yes. Is Oregon going to look to, again, keep it off balance? And then, like I said, I'm talking about Bo Nix passing, but Bucky Irving, if you try to, like Coach said it great the other day, you try and shut Bucky Irving down, or, you do that and they'll throw for 460 on you. And then you're playing all this coverage, laying off, and they rush for 250 on you. Bucky Irving rushes for 250 on you. So yes, this chess match is going to be insane. Coach Ward, again, like you said, that defense is prepped. That defense is finishing prepping, but yeah, they're ready to go. And again, it is short-term memory, but they don't want that feeling of Utah. Oregon's a very good team. They can score points, as could Washington. I'll just say that too, as UCLA as well. So yeah, I can't wait to see that chess match. 2 p.m. tomorrow, Mountain America Stadium, the artist formerly known as Sun Devil Stadium. Yes, forks up. But yeah, I don't. There's gonna be some great matchups, and the good news is we'll get to wrap it up. Hopefully, another victory Monday. Well, a huge victory Monday. Hopefully, let me rephrase. Another huge victory Monday. Volleyball, like I said, with the Oregon schools, hockey with Alaska Anchorage, and football, yes, with the Ducks. So we shall go from there. But yeah, everybody, I'm gonna get out of here. Everybody have a great, safe weekend. Again, don't forget volleyball tonight, 6 p.m. Desert Financial. They are taking on the number 6 Ducks. Get on out there. Hit me up on Twitter at Diablo00. I shall be there. So hit me up on Twitter and we will go from there. But everybody enjoy that. Enjoy the hockey tonight. If you're going to go to hockey as well, too. Again, it's tough you can't be in both at once, I know. But if you're going to hockey, cool. Forks up. Hit me up. Let me know you're there. Send me some pictures on Twitter on at Diablos00, and I shall put them up for you. I'll share them here on Pitchfork Lunch. But yeah, let's see some cool pictures. Even, obviously good video too. You got it. You got my Twitter. Just, send it to me. And YouTube, don't forget. So yes, volleyball, hockey, football, volleyball, and hockey. That's your weekend. Pitchfork Luncher. So I'm going to get out of here. Again, thank you so much for checking the show out. Appreciate it. And again, big ups, big shout out to JJ Van Niel, the first-year head coach. Of the women's volleyball team, not a first-year head coach in general, but of the women's volleyball team, the 18th ranked team in the country, 24-4 overall, undefeated at home, looking to keep that mark unblemished. So come on, fans, get on out there tonight, 6 p.m. Desert Financial, and support them. I'm going to get out of here. Have a great weekend. Have a great Sun Devil weekend. And yes, fans, you know it. As always, forks up.
Terry's three. Johnny Walker matching up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. He drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. The other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow.